Since we all love cars and get super excited when we get behind the wheels of one and can't wait to floor the gas pedal to go extremely fast. But did you know, these car manufacturers spend tons of money in testing and improving on how they can keep us safe and crash these supercars so we don't have to. Well, that's what this video is about. We're listing down the most expensive car crash test ever performed and what goes behind the testing. So buckle up to find out who tops our list of most expensive car crash tests ever performed. Performing a crash test can cost you hundreds of thousands of dollars or even millions depending on what car you're testing, especially when you have to buy the world's most expensive dummies. These crash test dummies can cost you more than 100,000 each, and not to forget the technology to back everything up. That's why car manufacturers are finding better and more effective ways to perform crash tests that could save them from destroying one car after another and spend millions after millions just to get things approved. But did you know, no matter how fast your car does on the tracks or how expensive your car is, you can't bring it on the road until you get approved by the road safety authorities. That's why these car manufacturers take road safety pretty seriously and don't hesitate on spending millions. Like the Pagani Regera, a car that is considered to be one of the rarest and most expensive car in the world. Each car can cost up to $3.5 million. But that doesn't stop them from bashing their $1 million car straight into a brick wall. It's practically like burning money, but in the name of road safety. But for Horacio Pagani, safety is his top priority and he wouldn't think twice in doing so. It's like him saying, "Take my money, but please keep everyone safe." But the Pagani Regera is pretty safe. The central monocoque is made of carbon titanium composite, a material that sounds out of this world, but apparently it's stronger and lighter than carbon fiber itself. A car which can cost around $300,000 to $400,000 and is a dream car for a lot of car enthusiasts out there. The Lamborghini Murcielago is also no exception when we talk about how big car manufacturers are burning money on performing crash tests. The Murcielago also had to be put onto the test to see whether it can withstand a harsh full frontal crash at 60 miles per hour. Just to find out, if you ever get crushed in a Lambo, then would you be able to walk without a scratch? I don't think so here, but it still did a great job with keeping the passengers from being completely crushed. Speaking of being crushed, car manufacturers like the Croatian company Rimac is crushing supercar giants and leading towards becoming pioneers in car safety. Rimac recently launched Rimac Concept 2, a car which does not drink any type of fuel and is fully electric and does 0 to 60 in under 2 seconds. But it doesn't come cheap, it has a $2 million price tag. Rimac is working with simulations so they can minimize the number of cars they need to destroy for each crash test. Sadly, they had to perform few frontal and side impact testing to collect data for the simulation with an actual car. The simulations are pretty accurate and gives them a better understanding of how the materials work. Car manufacturers now, who cannot do big scale productions, are prone to adapting these methods to save on cost and time. Like the Mercedes SLS AMG, this car came with a $200,000 price tag, and now since only a couple of thousand units are left in the world, the price has gone substantially high. Here the SLS can be seen smashed in this heartbreaking crash test, where the front is completely crushed by absorbing all the damage, but don't worry, the car's long front hood is designed to do this. The SLS did pretty well and passed the crash test with flying colors. They even dropped the SLS from a 2 feet distance just to see if the gullwing doors still work, and luckily they still do. So you can say you will still be safe even the car turns upside down, just don't actually try it. Another car which did pretty well in their crash test is none other than the Porsche Taycan. This is Porsche's latest 4-door electric super saloon that starts from $100,000 and goes all the way up to $200,000. But that doesn't stop them from crashing this car. The Taycan did pretty well in the front and side collision. It did so well that Porsche didn't have to conduct a lot of tests and received an instant green signal. Well, if you're spending $200,000 on a family car, at least it should keep you and your family completely safe. And that's what the Porsche Taycan does best. Moving on to another car manufacturer who recently announced the world's fastest and most expensive family car from Sweden is Koenigsegg Regera. An ultra rare supercar that would require you to have really deep pockets since it's worth $3.8 million. But you also need a strong heart to drive the 403km monster and to watch this brutal crash. Here, Koenigsegg performs some serious crash tests on this multi-million-dollar car. Christian believes that the Regera is one of the safest cars in the market with some key features like the smart airbags, where the airbags are deployed based on the angle and size of the passengers. You can also see the front end of the Regera holds its shape pretty well at a 60 mph crash, while keeping the passengers completely safe. The side collision was also a success. The airbags were deployed at the right time, and you can see how the roof did not even lose its shape, keeping the car intact. The car was even brutally hit by a hammer at several speed variations on different parts of the body to collect data on how each pressure point reacts. Koenigsegg also performed street testing to analyze the extreme durability of the chassis and how much it can sustain. All data collected is then analyzed on a simulation for future testing. But just like Koenigsegg, Ferrari also believes in performing many of their crash tests on a simulation where they don't actually have to destroy real supercars and of course save on cost. But Ferrari has tested few of their $200,000 cars like the Ferrari California. Here you can see the front end has completely crushed, but it seems like the car held up pretty well, which is usually the case with Ferraris. But imagine crashing multi-million-dollar cars for testing like the LaFerrari or Ferrari Enzo. Now watching that would break anyone's heart. Speaking of million-dollar cars, here's an ultra-rare crash test performed by McLaren on the McLaren F1, which was worth $1 million with an actual gold-plated engine. Imagine crushing $1 million car back in the 90s. The F1 actually did pretty well and passed with flying colors. The test was performed at a 30 mph speed, and even after the crash, the doors opened perfectly. Here's a comparison of the before and after of the front of the McLaren F1. The damage was so minimal that the car could have been easily driven away. And there you have it, my list of most expensive car crash tests ever performed. Thanks for watching, make sure to subscribe and like, and stay tuned for more content.